Hi everyone, I'm just doing a little tutorial on how to mod in sketchfab items, or like conjurables basically. The best idea, so to do this you must have the custom engine, so follow the Narcon's guide to download it. Before you start doing conjurables, I do recommend learning how to mod in just in-game things like from Fmodel. I do recommend doing that first because then you can sort of move on and up, etc. So I found this little pizza box which I thought was quite cute. Ignore that my for some reason my 3D model thing isn't coming up in sketchfab at the moment properly, but yeah, so what I tend to do before I even download it, I go to more model information to check. Ideally you want to be doing an FBX or an OBJ when you download these, but you can do the others. We'll see when we put it in Blender what options we do have. And I also check the materials because that decides how many materials we have to make. You will see what I mean when I put it into the custom engine. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go download the 3D model and download. And here we go, it's downloading. It shouldn't take too long. Perfect. So I'm going to drag, so you will see me dragging and dropping things to my other screen, which I'm not recording, so because we don't need that anymore. Obviously I'll put it on my other screen just to see basically what it looks like. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to extract all like we do with mods, like when we used to put them into the squiggly line mods folder. I'm going to do the same here, and here the two textures that I can't speak today. Here the two things are. So sometimes I double check, I go into source and see this is now another zip file, so we do have to unpack that as well. So I'm always checking that before I'm doing anything else. So then we can just delete the zip file and it will be here. Now you can have yours stay in downloads, but I tend to move mine into my 3D models, which is in like a little terabyte hard drive, well, portable hard drive. So it's got like 4 terabytes in there, and as you can see, all my mods are basically in here. Yeah. All unused mods, any previous mods that I had, so they're all saved in this little thing just to save the space on my PC. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go File, Import. So you know when I said to check what type of module you want to download, so you can use all these minus the skeleton mesh and the skeleton anim because that's for Fmodel. You'll see me use that in a minute because I use that for something. So, but obviously, yeah, sometimes I've used GLTF a few times as well, which does work, but FBX and OBJ are the two that ideally you want to be using. So we're going to load an FBX file. And I saved mine, where's 3D models? Nope. Okay, we're going to go here. What was it? Was it called Pizza Box or something? Here we go. Problems. Nope. There you go, pizza. Just changes the date, modify, problem solved. So we're going to import this pizza. Import FBX. Well, there's the pizza. Now, this is all completely separate, as you can see. So everything here is separate. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put everything into this box. So I'm just going to move this down a little. So I want to put it into plane 2. So what we want to do, because it's already highlighted, we just want to Control J, just join it. Just makes my life a lot easier. So pizza box. Now I know some people struggle with the sizing, so this is something I do, a little trick. Depending on if you want your MC to hold it or you just want it on a table. So this is why I go to the skeleton mesh PSK, because I'm going to go into something I saved earlier. Just got to find my F model. I'm hoping this is the right one. Nope. Phoenix, content, no, it's game, there you go, gameplay, sanctuary, message, props, and I have a table saved here. So I'm just going to use one of the small tables and then we can see, size it up. Now you see this pizza is tiny, you can't even see it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to bring this back up here and going to bring this up. Look how small that is compared to the table, because this is the actual size of the table in game. So I want to put this on a table. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press S. Now there's different ways you can do this, but I just press S and make things larger like that. And obviously you can sort of change the height, so depending, so if I want it table height, I'm just going to move it back here and onto the table. So I want that to fit on the table, but you can change the height depending if someone is, you know, eating it or whatever. But obviously if you've got Otis as well, you can just change it. So I know that's a good size, so I can delete the table now and do this. So I've saved this as pizza box, so I'm going to go File, Export, FBX, and I'm going to save that into Unreal Projects because that's where all my stuff goes at the moment. So pizza box, there we go. So I know that's my pizza box. Right, and then we're going to go into the custom engine. Now ignore my all stuff coming up, I'm moving to my other screen because it's just easier for me. So what we're going to do, we're just going to drag and drop, depending on where you saved that FBX file, and make sure you had these settings because you're going to replace. Unfortunately, conjurables are unable to be done in the mod kit at the moment. I don't know if they are going to change that in the future. I hope so, but we will see. So I press import all. It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters if you import all or you don't import all. It doesn't matter. Right, so what we're going to do, also I might reuse those actually. Sorry, this is like a previous mod and no, I'm going to delete that because I don't want them, I don't need them. There we go. Right, so we see this is now imported. Now we don't need any of the materials because for some reason that doesn't actually work. I would love if it did, but it doesn't. So we actually have to recreate all these over again. So delete, force delete that. So we want this just to come up grey for now. So remember when I said it had 4 materials? So here we go. We need to create those 4 materials. So what we're going to go into environment, master materials, and we're going to create 4 of these. So right click, create material instance, and we're going to do that 4 times. There we go. And then we're just going to highlight them all and drag them back into sanctuary, meshes, material, sanctuary, meshes, props, not materials, ignore me. So this is the path where you need to drag any conjurables you're doing into. Right, so what I'm actually going to name all of these. Pizza box 1. No, actually, what can I name these? So I'm going to name them all pizza something, just so I can find them. So see, I've got a stage here, I've named it all together. Surfboard I've put all together. Like everything I've sort of put together if I can. If it's got multiple materials, I sort of put it together just to make it easier on me. Right, so I'm going to drag in these textures. So you saw when I downloaded, you had source and textures. This is where I get the textures from. There's usually a separate textures folder. Sometimes it's all the same, sometimes it's not. Right, so we're going to rename all of these. I'm pretty sure yeah. We're going to rename all of these. So F2, T, pizza, how do you spell pepperoni? that how you spell pepperoni? I think that's how you spell pepperoni. I can't spell, so yeah, I think that's right. So we're going to name all of these T, pizza, oops, pizza box D, and then T, pizza box. I'm going to put B because that looks like a base. So especially if you've got like two similar things, I tend to do that. And then this is just pizza, T, pizza, D. Right, so there we go. So sometimes I do this, especially to name the materials. So I can just highlight the whole thing. So I think that's the boxes. If I just click isolate, yeah, so that's the boxes. So that base one will be what that's called. So I'm just going to minimize that a minute. So here we go, pizza box base. And then would that be the logo? Or would that be the base? Okay. So here you go, look, it's highlighted the pepperoni here. So we know that last one is the pepperoni. And then element 2 here is the pizza. Obviously I'm getting a bit confused. So obviously I will find out when I put each one in onto the box, which one's which. So we're going to do let's do pizza, pepperoni and pizza. Pepperoni, I think. So as long as you just name it MI underscore pizza, whatever. So depending on what you're modding, it's just easier. You can name it anything as long as it has MI underscore. You can name it anything, but I tend to name my things to keep them all together. So MI pizza box logo, I guess. And then we've got the base, and then just a MI pizza. So this is where we go. So let's do the pizza. So we're going to go onto the diffuse map. There you go. And we're just going to search in pizza because that's what we named it. Here you go, pizza. So save. And then all we've got to do, that's the pepperoni. So here's the pizza. We named it pizza. Named that material pizza. There you go. There's my pizza. Yum. I'm just thinking, of course I did food because I'm always hungry. So then just save. I tend to try and save as I go along. You don't have to, but recommending it. Sometimes this does crash, but it's not all the time. Yeah, so then we're going to go pizza pepperoni. Do the same again. Pizza pepperoni. Look at that, yum. I don't even like pepperoni pizza, but oops. So here we go, there's the material for the pepperoni. So that's now come up. So we don't need either of those two now. So we're going to use, sugar, this base, so pizza. So see where I've named everything pizza? It's all come up here. So this is the pizza box base. So here you go, I've named it like that. And then the pizza box logo. There you go. So this is where we're going to find. I have a feeling this to be the logo one. Yeah, I think this is the logo. So let's try pizza box logo, especially when you have loads of materials. Like I think I did Flora's car, and that had about, I think the most I got about 30 materials, and obviously I had to keep doing the highlight, the isolate to see what actual material went with what. It was quite time consuming. I'm pretty sure that took me about 3 hours. So obviously, yeah, that's why you always check the materials, because some mods do have like 50 plus materials, and you'd have to recreate everything separately and in the master materials, and yeah, it's very time consuming. You can do it if you want, but yeah. So that was it the logo? So there you go. That's not right. So this, we want the base. There we go. So then you can tell that last one will be the logo. Box logo. There we go. And there's our pizza, all sorted. Nice and easy. So we're going to save that. Then what we're going to do, we're going to chunk everything the same number. So anything that's to do with my pizza. Now, chunk numbers, I'm pretty sure, are from 100 up to 10,000. I think. I could be wrong, you will have to double check that, but it's something like that. But I tend to, you can name it whatever chunk, and I tend to do it by the time. So see, it's like 2011, my local time, and I'll just chunk it like that. Just because I can never remember what I chunk things as. Almost forgot. So we're going to navigate to F model to find what we're going to replace. How can I forget that? Before we chunk that, obviously. So what was the last thing I done? So I'll do another small table. So let's Control Shift Search and small table. Obviously you need to navigate to the gameplay sanctuary one. So here we go, sanctuary props meshes, because that's what you're replacing. What small table can I use? Okay, I can use this small table. So we will be replacing this swirly table, and all we've got to do here in F model, highlight that, Control C for copy, and then find your new mesh, F2, Control V, and then that saves there. Now we've got to chunk it. So highlight all them textures you downloaded, the mod, and all the pictures. So the materials, the textures, and the mod. Then we're going to go right click, asset actions, assign to chunk. What's the time? 2013. There we go. Control save. Then all that's left to do is chunk and pack the mods. So file, package project, Windows 64-bit. I won't film that because that might lag out and stop the film, but that's literally all you do. Then you go and test it in the game. And yeah, that's it. I hope this helps, and if you have any questions, just ask me or anyone in the servers.